This is Breaking Through the Noise, practical strategies from emerging thought leaders who've actually broken through the noise on their terms. I'm your host, Catherine Jelinek. Let's get real and let's get into it. Welcome, everyone, to this special episode because I get to introduce you to another one of my very important mentors, Andy Crestodina. Andy, thank you so much for being here.
Glad to be here, Catherine. I've been looking forward to this.
Thank you. So everyone, Andy is the co-founder and CMO of Orbit Media, which he has had for 25 years and is very much a guru in content marketing. And those are my words. I have admired you from afar and now from a much closer distance for a while. So thank you so much, Andy. I really appreciate your time. I want to hear about your story, though, Andy. When was the first time you felt like you broke through the noise to the audience that you genuinely want to connect with and the people you want to inspire? And how did that happen?
Well, there were moments early on when I was hosting tiny live events and people kept coming back. And I thought, this is really starting to evolve into more of a community. And sometimes I'd have some of them present. I was giving little presentations after work in this fun format we did where we'd like serve food and pour wine and teach. So that was a time when I thought, wow, this is really an opportunity for me to sharpen my content and to listen to people, hear their questions directly and like interact and make friends too. So the live event format was one when I felt it started to get traction, partly because I was doing my own little weird events. That worked well, and I will never give that up. Another moment was when I started. I still do that, not in the live format, but I do host several like networking events or just, and I still give presentations all over the place. But I will never stop prioritizing face to face and in person. It's alive and well, and anybody can start anything. So it's totally possible to create just a little group of people meet up. That was a breakthrough. Other breakthroughs.
Why was that a breakthrough?
Well, it made me closer to my audience and sort of surrogate reader. I got to know people much better. I got to test out messages and try content and just do more. Presentation formats are special because you have there's a risk and a fear that you'll fail publicly. So giving presentations is a constant pressure to sharpen everything you've got. And so being on a cadence where you're sometimes teaching something is just a wonderful catalyst for growth in content. But I don't know. I mean, I've seen trends come and go. This is 25 years. So there are things that worked before that don't work anymore. The LinkedIn newsletter, of course, is a way to break through a bit because it circumvents the algorithm when people subscribe. So publishing directly onto LinkedIn and starting a LinkedIn newsletter, very relevant for B2B brands, but all kinds of thought leaders. And then there were other weird little things. Like I saw from data, partly on YouTube, but all over socials, when you take a little stand, Catherine, I wonder what you think of this. Agree, disagree. True thought leadership is about making assertions that people can disagree with. That's partly from Seth Godin. If you can't disagree with it, it's not thought leadership. That doesn't mean you have to be controversial. I think there's pretty mundane things that people have very strong opinions about.
That's a good thing to underscore there because I'm like,
this
day and age where everything feels like a razor, it's hard to feel like you need to foster reasons for more disagreement.
I know, as if those topics trigger engagement and the engagement triggers algorithms and then people end up seeing more of that, which explains national politics and political polarization. But really, if we just want to be thought leaders, it's on your topic. Of course, you're aligned. You know your buyer. You know what they care about, and everyone has counter narrative perspectives. But your point's important because I was sitting actually at one of those live events, like talking to friends, group of marketers, meeting up in a happy hour. And we're like, oh yeah, that works really well. And we were like, social justice and gun control. Time out. What about the Oxford comma? And a huge fight broke out. Like everybody, like this very mundane things where you can take a little stand and just watch what happens, watch how different it is, regardless of how mundane. And there's AI prompts for this, by the way. What are the counter narratives rarely covered by other thought leaders? What are the topics that the big brands and big blogs are failing to address? It will give you a list of interesting, super mundane but provocative topics in my category. And they're hilarious. So those little things will definitely break through the algorithm. Now that you know that, use your powers for good, never evil.
Right. Amen. So
Something like that.
which soapbox do you stand on?
Well, sure.
and found that broke you through.
Well, I once made a video that said these are things that you should remove from your website. I made it strong enough of a statement that it sounds like, you know, these should never be on websites. And I said things like, press releases don't belong on websites. Just write the article you wanted the press release to trigger. I said PDFs are the rust of the internet.
Nice.
Everything that's a PDF should also be a web page. Never make a testimonials page. Visitors never go to testimonials pages. Make every page a testimonials page. Fill your page with social proof. And then I also said, take the dates off your blog posts because it makes your content look older faster. And if you've got an evergreen content strategy, it just doesn't. You can always put the date in the title of the thing if it's like a research report or something. And there's like 700 angry comments on YouTube about people saying they like dates. But YouTube then showed that thing to like 350,000 people because of the conversation it started.
The engagement.
Yeah.
Okay. But then how do you feel about like how many hundreds of angry comments about something as mundane as dates, but still like that's not, does that spike you at all? Or are you kind of like just doing my job?
Any social platform where people are anonymous is just a food fight, which is why I'm almost just on LinkedIn anymore. I didn't respond to a single one of those comments. There were enough of them who were happy with, who appreciated the rest of the advice or the advice in general or the strong POV. But no, it didn't bother me at all. I mean, dates on blogs, I'm not going to get worked up about that. And I don't feel that strongly about it anyway. No, I'm not like, bet the farm on a tip like that. So no, I think there are safe places that you can take a little stand and start conversations. Another trick is to ask the question first on LinkedIn. It's like, what do you think? Do PDFs belong on websites, or is there really what's the value of adding press releases to websites? And so you'll start a conversation first. You're priming the pump. Then go publish your point of view and go back to those other people and let them know that you just, shared the research or the poll or, here was your take on it. Even invite some of them into the content. If someone had a great point of view in the question post you made the week before, reach out to them, ask them if they wouldn't mind submitting a contributor quote that you can add to the article. Include your audience in your content. This is another problem. People make things and then afterwards wonder how to promote them, instead of building it for promotion by doing sort of pre-promotion and engaging with people who care about the thing before you make it or while you're making it, especially influencers. Collaborate with influencers on everything. Like that's a huge shortcut, maybe one of the very few shortcuts. But no, that's starting the conversation prior to the piece going live. Make sure that they have a good answer to the question, how many people are waiting for this piece to go live? That number should be greater than 0.
You are an engagement master. Like this is what you naturally can see. It's like content, but then places around to engage, how to make it more engaging, how to engage it again.
I hope that, I try to be. I'm not that worried about it because I know that the vast majority of readers are just lurkers who don't engage at all. Who cares? People I've never heard of contact us and say, I've been reading you for years and I've never seen them in comments. Who cares? People can do whatever they want. I don't have to, I don't need a lot. I really don't think of likes and comments as a success metric mostly. That's quantity. What I'm looking for more is quality, where it started a conversation with someone that led to some interesting ideas, or maybe a conversation, maybe they become a lead someday, or it triggered some new ideas for me to go another direction. There's really, it's totally overrated, and the social platforms have gamified it by making the engagement metric so visible, as if they did that on purpose.
It is their goal.
It's their goal. Engagement
goal.
is their goal. Yeah, you're like a product when you publish, and they're the ones who mostly benefit by keeping people in the scroll. But yeah, I think that engagement really isn't My primary outcome, it is relevance, it's connections, it's friendship, Catherine. Like
Yeah. Oh, I know that's
it's
genuine, like
yeah.
genuine friendship. You're a very good connection nurturer in
Hmm,
the very real human sense.
thank you. It's but content leads to all kinds of great things, and without content, there would be no heartbeat on your website. There'd be nothing to put in social streams. This format right now is a great example because podcasts are an intimate format. We're speaking extemporaneously. It's visual where you can see our faces. So another thing, obviously, is to just always look for opportunities to upgrade the format from text to image, from image to video. Huge impact.
Thinking about you and the work you've done over 25 years, who do you now know your audience is? Who do you like? Not necessarily the people who are listening, that these might be the same, but who you want to reach, like the
Hmm.
person you're creating these messages for. And what's the through line throughout your beautiful work of 25 years? What's the big message that you're bringing to this audience that you very much have broken through to? But I'm just curious for you to kind of name both of those.
Well, I want to be a good teacher. My goal isn't really thought leader. I'm not. Most of my stuff is kind of pedantic, like it's like how to do stuff, like it's like step by step.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also mostly brand marketing, not performance marketing. And that's a key distinction. Brand
Yes.
marketing is about building awareness and just making people, know of the brand and trying to be top of mind. What I want to do in terms of connecting with the, business growth is more of a performance marketing goal, which is to understand my audience so well that when the prospective buyer lands on the money pages, that they get all their questions answered, all their objections are handled, all my claims are supported. But yeah, content doesn't directly impact lead generation because content is mostly brand marketing unless you use it in some clever ways. Like I wrote a book, I can send that to leads. You can put your top articles in your email nurture sequences. You can case studies go into proposals. There are sales alignment opportunities in content marketing, but the article I just finished yesterday is mostly a brand play. It's not going to generate leads, but probably 60,000 people will read it, and I'm happy if it's helpful to them, and it certainly doesn't hurt our brand.
And then to just, so I hear that your message is being a teacher and helping people understand how to use their brand marketing and their content to inform their audience and to make their communication and hopefully sale easier, but you can't always directly tie. But then again, one more time, is like the audience you are here for is the rest of us who are out here playing with this
Mm-hmm.
and much less informed. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, I mean, be a engaged member of a community, be a helpful, useful internet citizen. Just keep it. It's not. Don't expect attribution from content marketing directly. It's but what you'll see if you do it long enough and hard enough. This I started content marketing in 2007, and
Hmm.
most to this day, most of my articles take me 12 hours to create. Like I'm working as hard as I can on these things. But you'll get leads like, I wonder if I could find it. There's a lead this morning of this person who just said, "Hey, my colleague and I attended your event, Content Jam. We have a conference last month.
Hmm.
Blah, blah, blah. We're
Wow.
in the early stages of planning a website and immediately thought of you when discussing how to approach the site structure and optimization. We'd love to explore the opportunity of working with you." Okay, so what happened there? The
Hmm.
brand marketing short circuited all the normal digital channels, right? I broke through noise. They were in the room, like it was captured audience, like I'm just teaching, and they saw it as I became top of mind in that moment, and they didn't go to Google, they weren't scrolling LinkedIn. That's the ultimate goal of brand marketing, is that you are no longer dependent upon big tech or ad or budgets. That's the greatest outcome imaginable in marketing, is that you're literally top of mind, and that it's disintermediation. You no longer need you know search optimization or you know paid budgets.
That's wonderful. I love that. The proof of your work
Mm-hmm.
right
It's
there. Very
every day
perfectly
we
summarized.
generate leads.
Isn't that great? Really quick peeling back to the early days. I loved hearing your stories of being in these in-person salon style
Hmm.
meetings. And I hear that you were refining your resonance in those days, it sounded like, and being able to get that quick and intimate feedback from your audience that forced refinement,
Hmm.
refinement, refinement. And then today, fast forward, here you are. How many? 60,000 subscribers on your LinkedIn newsletter?
250,000 subscribers, 60,000 readers
Excuse me.
on each article. Yeah, it's
Oh,
high.
that's
I know.
incredible.
Brand.
Was
It's just
there?
a brand play. There's no, those aren't going to be leads.
Yes, I hear that. But also then they turn into these emails too, right? When you have the
Yeah.
whole ecosystem reinforcing.
Hmm.
Was there a breaking through the noise moment for you? Was there a moment where things really opened up, or was it really slow builds over time and just added more, added more? And it's not just reflected in that number there, but I know there's so many other metrics and platforms and places where that's reflected. So just curious about your professional trajectory and where that inflection point might have been.
It's the key question. It's really hard to pinpoint a moment, but as general advice, I would say, I read this in a book on a totally different topic. It said, leave early, go far, and stay long. By leave early, it just means like get started, people, jump in. Like there's people right now trying to find the information in your brain, and you are doing a disservice to the internet by not publishing the amazing insights and advice you have. Start, hit record. Let's do this. Launch your
Mm-hmm.
show, write your book,
Mm-hmm.
do your things. Go far means to be disarmingly helpful and surprising. Like the visitor's like shocked at how you just gave that all away. Like, wait, this is all I need. And you'll get comments like, "Hey, your article just became half of our training material." Like literally, try to win this contest of generosity by giving away as much as you possibly can. Stay long is just endurance. This is a marathon. I can't write an article every week. I write one every 2 weeks. That's been my cadence for 15 years. It's good enough.
Yeah.
So yeah, that in general, I think it's like eat your vegetables, go to the gym, and write something super useful that people will remember. Write something memorable, whether it's new original research, which is super powerful, or tiptoe toward thought leadership, which is super compelling. Upgraded formats like video, all the things, Catherine.
Hmm. Sounds like brand fitness or brand hygiene. Just keep eating your vegetables and publishing your newsletter every 2 weeks. And for 15 years, who can compete with that?
Well, that message is, I mean, the point of my little metaphor there is nobody asks like, which bite of broccoli makes me healthy, or which one of these chin ups makes me fit. So there's not like a which one of these articles built my brand. You just do what you know you should do. Do all the actions, develop all the habits, and just continue on doing the things that you know that can make a difference without expecting huge results at first. But in my experience, I think for most things in life, success and performance is a curve. So James Clear did a great piece on this. He's the author of Atomic Habits. The expected performance is a line. No, that's not what's going to happen. You're going to be far below that line at first, wondering like, am I just shouting into the wild? And then eventually you will exceed expectations. Like I didn't think there'd be that many people who wanted to read these little articles. So there's a chart for that somewhere. I'm almost positive it's James Clear, but yeah, just keep going. It matters.
Hmm. And there's something you did say, but is behind the scenes in everything you shared. And I think that is generosity is very much at the
Mm.
heart of what you do. It's this giving, giving, sharing, sharing, not caring, not necessarily ascribing dollar amounts to everything you do. Actually, most of what you do doesn't have that. And the return coming back, but this is brand and this is also a human heart at work. It's very much what you do.
Well, you can never overstate how competitive the internet is and how many things you compete with to capture and hold attention. So every URL on the internet has a back button. You can't remove it. So with that in mind, yeah, you are literally trying to win a generosity contest. That's how I think of it. So there'll be moments. My article this week, all the time, I have this feeling like, am I giving away too much? Now you're on the right track.
Hmm.
Is it my like inside out? Should I tell people all these like secrets or processes? Or yes, you probably should. Wait, aren't they just going to go do it themselves? Yes, some of them might, but the upside to you is much greater If your content is just like alarmingly helpful, like what? I can't, this one, think of word of mouth. Everyone agrees it's the most powerful form of marketing. How do you create something that people talk about? Like, don't just click and hit the back button. Make something that will, and AI has methods for this. You can ask it like, how could this be more memorable? How could this be more compelling? How could this trigger more conversation? It'll give you some general ideas. But yeah, I think that's, one of the greatest compliments I ever got was, hey, Andy, when you publish, we have a meeting and we read it together and we decide how to adapt our business to these ideas you just shared or our marketing. That's what you're going for. Yeah.
You're indeed the master teacher when that's occurring.
I feel like we're talking too much about me.
Well, this is a podcast interview of you.
You're sweet.
And
Thank you.
Unfortunately, we're about to wrap up, Andy. So what's the last nugget of advice you'd give folks listening who are emerging thought leaders?
Well, you have to be very just genuine and be yourself and don't hold back. I think knowing yourself and just being more human than the competitors. You see this work everywhere. Just say what you believe now and then, or edit your copy so that it's a little punchier and more direct. Don't water things down. Remove those qualifying statements. Like make that sentence shorter and sharper. That helps just so things land. Jonah Berger's book Contagion has tons of these tips. But the other one is just this obsessive empathy with the reader and the audience. Marketing was always about empathy. Digital is about data-driven empathy. So look for any clues anywhere you can find that these are the topics that are the most engaging, most interesting, most compelling, most useful, and niche down into one of those or a couple of those subtopics. And then, leave early, go far, and stay long.
Thank you so much, Andy. And is there anything that we can highlight of yours or share or say, hey, folks, check this out? Your conference already happened.
I should always have a better answer to that question.
No worries.
I would say this. If you're listening to this show and you want to connect, on LinkedIn, there's a big blue follow button. Skip it. Go to the 3 dots and just connect with me and say, I heard your conversation with Catherine, and then we can have a conversation. I said it to follow because my LinkedIn is so noisy, but everyone who's listening to this is welcome to actually connect with me, and we can stay connected and hang out and talk and visit, meet in person, whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Andy, you are an exemplary, generous human.
You
always.
are so kind. Wow. Thank you for this. You're making my day.
Well, just reflecting you back to you, my friend. So probably
mutual.
Appreciate that. Several nuggets, though, to pocket from this conversation, and especially depending on where you're at with your content. But as Andy said, he is welcoming you to connect with him on a human to human level, which I love that spans all the way back to how you even began. And it's been embedded in how you've approached things with your generosity and everything you've shared as a teacher. So everyone, thank you so much for listening today. Andy, thank you for your time and wisdom. Hearts all around. Till next time, everyone. Thank you for listening to Breaking Through the Noise. You can follow us on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts. And drop a comment on topics you want to hear about in future episodes. We'd love to hear that. Thanks again for tuning in. Till next time.